Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
ଦି ଜଣ join କରିଛନ୍ତି. Maybe we will wait for 5 more minutes. Few others will join and then we can start.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if no one else is joining, then maybe we can start. So we discussed about uh, solving this polynomial equation uh, f of x is equal to 0, where f of x is of the form a0 plus a1x, a2x square, a3x cube, so on and so forth up to a n xn. If we have this kind of equation, we can solve it by bisection method. We can solve it by bisection method that we have discussed at Aristotle. Basically, just to revise, suppose we have a plot of f of x. Let's say this is my f of x. Then f of x is equal to 0. Uh, this point is basically this is basically f of x is equal to 0. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. So then what we do, we take 2 points, one over here, one over here. If this is x is equal to a, this is x is equal to b, then by dividing, taking the midpoint and again taking the midpoint, then again taking the midpoint, again taking midpoint. So finding the midpoint and so that one value is positive, one value is negative. That's how we approach the desired value where f of x is equal to 0. This is basically our bisection method. But this bisection method is somewhat lengthy. It takes a lot of time. So the convergence time is quite large. So therefore, there is another method called Newton-Raphson method. Newton-Raphson method. Okay, Newton-Raphson method. So what exactly this Newton-Raphson method does? This method is generally used to improve the result by one of the previous methods, uh, which is used in calculus, that is Taylor series expansion. Taylor series expansion. Okay, so let me write it down. So we have to solve what f of x is equal to 0. ଆମକୁ ଏଇଟା solve କରିବାର ଅଛି ହେଲା let let x naught x0 be an approximate solution, okay, or approximate root, whatever you call. If that is the case, and let x1 is equal to x0 plus h be the correct root. This is the correct root. Then what will happen? F of x1 will be equal to 0. Now f of x1 is equal to 0 means f of x plus or x naught plus h is equal to 0. This implies what? If you do the Taylor series expansion, what we will get? F of x0 plus h f prime x0 plus h square by factorial 2 f double prime x0 plus up to what? H to the power n by n factorial f to the power n x0 is equal to 0. right? Now, what is h? H is a very small quantity. H is a very small quantity. H is a very small quantity. Therefore, therefore, h square, h cube, h to the power n are even smaller and hence can be neglected. Hence can be neglected. Okay. So what will remain? Only h term will remain. कौन हब सेठू? So that means यही part गुड़ा सब neglect कर दवा. So what will remain? F of x0 plus h f prime x0 is equal to 0. This implies h is equal to how much? Minus f of x0 by f prime x0, right? So what will be the value of x1 then? What is x1? x1 is equal to x0 plus h, which is basically, so this implies x1 is equal to x0 minus f of x0 by f prime x0. Now, if x1 is the solution, then f of x1 will equal to 0. But if f of x1 is not a solution, so the x1 the solution nuhe, then what we will do? We will find out x2. Then x2 will be equal to what? x1 minus f of x1 by f prime x1. যদি x2 টা 0 x2 টা সলিউশন ହେଇଗଲା তাহলে ঠিক ଅଛି ଯଦି x2 ଟା ବି ସଲ୍ୟୁସନ ହେଲାନି ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ ଯିବା କୋଉଠିକି x3 is equal to x2 minus f of x2 by f prime x2. Will continue until f of xn is equal to 0. ଯୋଉଠି ଆମର f of xn 0 ହେଇଯିବ then xn is the solution. Okay. Yeah, I request all the participants to kindly mute their audio. So all of you mute your audio. Yeah, thank you. So the general formula, if we write the general formula, x n plus 1 is equal to xn minus f of xn by f prime xn. This is basically, this formula is basically called Newton-Raphson formula. बुझी ହେଲା ନା ନାହିଁ?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good,
sir. Clear.
good. So then we'll look at one of the maybe example, right? We'll take an example and try to solve it using Newton-Raphson. Is that fine? So let us take an example. Equation is x cube minus 2x minus 5 equal to 0. Okay. So what exactly we'll do? We'll write f of x. What is f of x now? हमको इटा सॉल्व करने f of x किए x cube minus 2x minus 5. It is f of x, isn't it? What is f prime x? F prime x means df by dx. कैसे होगा बेटा? 3x square minus 2, right? Now, what is the general formula then? xn plus 1 is equal to xn minus f of x. F of x means xn to the power 3 minus 2xn minus 5 divided by 3xn square minus 2. ବୁଝିହେଲା?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us take, for example, let us choose, you can take any guess. You can take any guess. Let me take maybe 2, x not equal to 2. Let my first guess, ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନି ହବ କି ନାହିଁ ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନି, ମତେ ଲାଗୁଛି 2 ହେଲେ ମେ ବି ହେଇଯାଇପାରେ, ମାନେ 2 into 2 4 minus 4 minus 5, that is minus 9, or 2 to the power 3 is 8, 8 minus 9 minus 1. It is close, it is not that big. Let me just take my first guess, x naught is equal to 2, let's say. ଯଦି x naught ଟା 2 ହେଲା ତାହେଲେ x1 ଟା କେତେ ହେବ? What will be my x1? ते calculate କରିବ ଦେଖିବା, substitute କରିବ basically. x1 ଟା ବାହାର କରିବା ପାଇଁ x naught ଟା କଣ ହବ? ତାର ମାନେ x naught minus naught cube minus 2x naught minus 5 divided by 3x naught square minus 2. x naught ର value କଣ ଅଛି? ତାହେଲେ x1 ର value କେତେ? ବାହାର କରିବ ଦେଖିବା କେତେ ବାହାରୁଛି? ସମସ୍ତେ ଟିକେ calculate କର, ଖାତାରେ ଟିକେ calculate କର କେତେ ହଉଛି? ହଉଛି ବାହାରୁଛି?
Sir, 19 by 10.
19 by
10.
19 by 10 na 21 by 10? Check it.
Sir, 21 by 10, 2.1.
21 by 10, yes. So it will be 2.1. Okay. x1 is equal to 2.1. ଆମେ ଏଇଟା ପାଇଲେ, ଠିକ ଅଛି? ନେକ୍ସଟ କଣ କରିବା? ଆମେ ବାହାର କରିବା what is f of x1. f of x1 ଟା କେତେ ବାହାର କରୁନ? what is f of x1? f of x1 ମାନେ କେତେ? x1 cube minus 2x1 minus 5. यार value କେତେ? କେତେ ବାହାରୁଛି? ଯଦି 0 ହେଇଗଲା ତାହେଲେ x1 is the solution. बाहर करो केते होची you have your mobile and calculator just use that
0.061.
0.061 good ता माने 0 नुहे right 0.061 so this is not equal to 0 okay so what is f prime x1 f prime x1 टा केते हबो 3x1 square minus 2 केते बाहर एटा f prime x1
11.23.
11.23 okay good 11.23 now as we saw that f of x1 is not equal to 0 so we have to go for x2 so x2 is equal to x1 minus f of x1 divided by f prime x1 ना नहीं formula answer है so that will be equal to how much f of x1 is 2.1 minus केते बाहर f f of x1 हमें केते पाइछु 0.061 divided by 11.23 so what is the value can you calculate what is the value what is the value of x2
So 2.094.
2.094 2.094 good okay so what is f of x2 now what is f of x2 so that is basically x2 cube minus 2x2 minus 5 evaluate केते बाहर
minus 0.0061.
minus 0.0061. या आगुरु आमे पाइथिले केते 0. कोडे गला हां 0.061 एठी 0061 आसलानी तेणु बेसिकली ଆମକୁ ନିଜକୁ ପଚାରିବା ପାଇଁ ପଡିବ ଯେ ଆମେ କାହାକୁ ଜିରୋ ବୋଲି ମାନିବା ଯଦି ଡେସିମାଲ ଦିଟା ପଏଣ୍ଟ ପରେ ଦିଟା ଜିରୋ ଆସିଲାଣି ଆମେ ଯଦି ତାକୁ ଜିରୋ ବୋଲି ମାନି ନବା ତାହେଲେ ଦିସ୍ ଇଜ ଦ ସଲ୍ୟୁସନ 2.094 ଇଜ ଦ ସଲ୍ୟୁସନ ଓକେ ଯଦି କହିବା ଯେ ନାଇଁ ଏଇଟା ଜିରୋ ନୁହେଁ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଆଉ ଦିଟା ଖଣ୍ଡେ ଜିରୋ ବାହାରିଲେ ହବ ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ କଣ ବାହାର କରିବା ପୁଣି f prime x2 ବାହାର କରିବା and then we will go for x3. x3 will be equal to x2 minus f of x2 by f prime x2. Okay. एठी हमें x2 रो वैल्यू पाइछे f of x2 एठी हमें f prime x2 बाहर करथिबे then we can find out what is the value of x3 and then we will check again what is f of x3 f of x3 रो वैल्यू केते एटा जदी 0.0000 सम नंबर्स आसिला हमें कहबे जे एटा 0 then this will be the solution. बुझिएला?
Yes, sir.
So this is how we calculate. At this point, I just give a short question. You solve it and then we move over to other parts. Okay? ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ problem solve କରିବା ଦେଇକି ଆମେ ଅନ୍ୟ part କୁ ପଳେଇବା. Solve x is equal to e to the power minus x. X is equal to e to the power minus x. कौन करिवे प्रथमे हला आकु आमे लेखिबा को फॉर्म रे f of x is equal to 0 एई फॉर्म रे हमको लेखिबार अछि नै कि so what I will do x is equal to e to the power minus x this implies x is equal to 1 by e to the power x or if I cross multiply x into e to the power x is equal to 1 or x into e to the power x minus 1 equal to 0. So this is my f of x. So my f of x is equal to x e to the power x minus 1. What will be my f prime x or df by dx? df by dx टा केते हबो ताले? That will be my df by dx. कौन करा जिवो? Differentiation with respect to a constant is 0, right? So this is basically equal to d by dx of x e to the power x. UV formula apply करिवो? हैं? d by dx of uv is equal to what? u dv by dx plus v du by dx. ना नहीं एया
Yes, sir.
तो सेटा को सब्स्टिट्यूट करले केते हबो ताले x d e to the power x by dx plus e to the power x dx by dx ना नहीं so this is equal to x e to the power x रो डेरिवेटिव केते e to the power x plus e to the power x dx by dx is 1 so this is equal to x plus 1 into e to the power x. This is my f prime x. Okay. So if I substitute, what will be my xn plus 1 general formula? Xn minus f xn by f prime xn. So that will be equal to xn minus f of xn kete? x xn e to the power xn e to the power xn minus 1 by xn plus 1 e to the power xn. नहीं
Yes,
है
sir.
तो okay. So can you try to find out what is the solution now? You have calculator, right? Mobile calculator you have, right? Use the previous method as I explained. So take a quick guess. Okay, take a quick guess. Let's say let x0 is equal to 1. I give a quick guess. x0 is equal to 1. Okay. But 1 substitute kole answer ହେଇ ଯାଉଛି କି? ହଉନି ନା? f of x0 କେତେ? 1 e to the power 1 minus 1. Right? So that is e minus 1. E ର value କେତେ? What is the value of e? E ର value କେତେ?
Sir, 2.718.
Yes, 2.718. Right? 2.718 minus 1. So 1.718. So this is not equal to 0. Right? So now what you do, you have x naught. So make a column x naught or no, rather I should write it like this. Let me erase it and write it. So xn f of xn f prime xn, okay, এইভাবে আমি বার করব, and then xn plus 1, okay. প্রথমটা কি x0 equal to 1, তাহলে f of x0 কেতে হব বার করিব, এটি f prime x0 বাহির করিব, তারপরে x0 ପରେ x1 কেতে এটি বাহির করিব, পুଣି এটি x1 ର ভ্যালু লিখিব f of x1 f prime x1 ଯୋଉ ଜାଗାରେ f of xn ଟା sufficiently small বা close to 0 ହେଇଯିବ, ସେଇ x value ଟା ହଉଛି solution. ବୁଝି ହଉଛି?
Yes, sir.
ହଁ, ମତେ ତାହେଲେ ଏଠି ଟିକେ ବାହାର କରି କହୁନ କେତେ ହବ answer? What will be the answer? Take maybe 10 minutes time and then calculate and tell me what will be the answer. Use your calculator. ବାହାରିଲା କାହାର?
ସାର୍ ମୁଁ x3 ଯାଏଁ କାଲକୁଲେଟ୍ କରିଛି।
ଓକେ, ଗୋ ହେଡ୍ କାଲକୁଲେଟ୍ x4। x3 ରେ ହବନି 0 ପ୍ରାୟ। କାଲକୁଲେଟ୍ x4। ବାହାରୁଛି, ଏତିକି ବାହାରିଲା। କାହାର ଏତିକି ଭ୍ୟାଲୁ ବାହାରିଲା ନା ବାହାରିନି କାହାର? So you can check our f of x is basically equal to what? X e to the power x minus 1. So x4, what is f of x4? बाहर करो देखिए बेटी। x4 e to the power x4 minus 1. ए भ्यालुटा केते होउची? Where x4 is this value. केते बाहरुची आंसर टा? Yes? Anybody got the answer?
Sir, I am getting minus 0.000013.
0.000013. So that is almost zero, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So with the limit that we are accepting this is to be zero, we can say this is the solution. Getting my point? Now
Yes,
here
sir.
actually you can see ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ bisection method use କରୁଥିଲୁ it was taking like 7-8 steps for simple equations. ତେଣୁ ତା ଅପେକ୍ଷା ଏଇଟା 3 ନମ୍ବର କିମ୍ବା 4 ନମ୍ବର ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଆସିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଅଲମୋଷ୍ଟ ସଲ୍ୟୁସନ ବାହାରି ଯାଉଛି ଅଲମୋଷ୍ଟ you will see ତମେ ଥାର୍ଡ ବା ଫୋର୍ଥ ଆଇଟରେସନ ତାକୁ ଆଇଟରେସନ କୁହାଯାଏ फोर्थ आइटरेशन ଆସିଲା ବେଳକୁ ମୋଷ୍ଟଲି ଆନ୍ସର ପାଖାପାଖି ପହଞ୍ଚି ଯାଇଥିବ 4 ବା 5th ଆସିଲା ବେଳକୁ ହେଲା ସୋ କନଭର୍ଜେନ୍ସ ଇଜ ମଚ୍ ଫାଷ୍ଟର ଏଥିରେ ଶୀଘ୍ର ଆନ୍ସର ବାହାରିବ ଏଜ କମ୍ପେୟାର ଟୁ ବାଇସେକ୍ସନ ମେଥଡ ଠିକ ଅଛି ନ୍ୟୁଟନ ରାଫସନ ମେଥଡ ବୁଝି ହେଲା ନା ନାହିଁ ନା କଣ ଡାଉଟ ଅଛି ଆଉ ନ୍ୟୁଟନ ରାଫସନ ରେ ବାଇସେକ୍ସନ ଏଣ୍ଡ ନ୍ୟୁଟନ ରାଫସନ ବେସିକାଲି ଏଥିରେ ଆମେ ପୋଲିନୋମିଆଲ ଇକ୍वेସନ ସଲ୍ଭ କରିପାରିବା ଏନି ପୋଲିନୋମିଆଲ ଇକ୍वेସନ ଦେଲେ ଆମେ ତାକୁ ସଲ୍ଭ କରିପାରିବା ଯାହାର ଯଦି କିଛି ଡାଉଟ ଅଛି ପଚାରି ଦିଅ ନହେଲେ ଆମେ ୱିଲ୍ ମୁଭ୍ ଓଭର ଟୁ ନେକ୍ସଟ ପାର୍ଟ ନ୍ୟୁମେରିକାଲ ଇଣ୍ଟିଗ୍ରେସନ No doubts, nothing. All right. So then we'll go move over to something called numerical integration. Integration ସମସ୍ତେ କରିଥିବ ନାଇଁ? Differentiation and integration.
Yes, sir.
So which one is easier? Differentiation or integration? ସହଜ କୋଉଟା? ପ୍ରାୟ ସବୁ ଫଙ୍କସନ ର ଡିଫରେନ୍ସିଏସନ କରିହବ ବଟ୍ ସବୁ ଫଙ୍କସନ ର ଇଣ୍ଟିଗ୍ରେସନ ପାଇଁ ଫର୍ମୁଲା ପ୍ରାୟ ନାହିଁ ନୁହେଁ isn't it?
Yes, sir.
ତମ ପାଖରେ ଯେକୌଣସି ଫର୍ମୁଲା ଥିଲେ ତମେ obviously we can do integration by parts but then ଯଦି ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ infinite series ପଡି ଭଳିଆ ହେଇଗଲା ତାହେଲେ ତାର solution ବାହାରିବନି but differentiation most of the time we can do using our UV formula or U by V formula and other formula we can mostly differentiate so the function which we cannot mm, integrate using our normal given formula most of the time those integrations are done numerically using a computer okay so before going to integration numerical integration let us try to understand what do we mean by integration little bit so let me write down let's say I have an integration I is equal to integration a to b y dx or integration a to b f of x dx तो जहां भी कोई करो where y is equal to f of x okay now what do you mean by this integration formula ଏଠି କଣ ବାହାର କରାଯାଉଛି what exactly it is Any idea? कौन टा So in this is basically area under the curve, sorry, area under the curve y is equal to f of x and x axis bounded by x equal to a and x equal to b. ଯଦି ମୁଁ pictorially ତାକୁ represent କରିବି, suppose this is my x axis, this is my y axis, this is my f of x, ଏଇଟା ହଉଛି y is equal to f of x ର graph, ତାହେଲେ ଯଦି ମୁଁ x equal to a ଏଇଠି ନେବି ଆଉ x equal to b ଏଠି ନେବି, basically then I will be talking about this area. ବୁଝିହେଲା? Now this area, I mean computer, we have to discretize. So in order to find out this area, what I can do, let me draw it again. Little bit. Draw it. ଏଇଭଳିଆ ଅଛି ମତେ ଏରିଆଟା ବାହାର କରିବାର ଅଛି ମୁଁ କଣ କରିବି ତାକୁ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରିପ୍ କରିଦେବି ତାକୁ କାଟିକିରି ଷ୍ଟ୍ରିପ୍ସ କରିବି ସବୁ Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there was a disconnection in the internet, so somehow I didn't know that. ତ କେତେ ଯାଏଁ ସମସ୍ତେ କଲ କଲ ଏଇଟା ମୁଁ କହିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଅଡିଓ ଥିଲା ମୁଁ ଏଇଟା ବୁଝିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଅଡିଓ ମୋ ଅଡିଓ ଟା ଥିଲା ନା ନଥିଲା କଟି ଯାଇଥିଲା
ଯାଇଥିଲା।
okay let me explain again then. Yeah. So what exactly what do we mean by integration? Integration is nothing but basically area under the curve. Area under the curve y is equal to f of x-axis and bounded by x equal to a and x equal to b. Okay. So then if we plot it, ଯଦି ଆମେ ତାକୁ plot କରିବା ଗୋଟେ graph ରେ, okay. So then it will be if this is my y is equal to f of x, this will be basically the area which I will be calculating. Okay. Bounded by x equal to a, x equal to b, the curve and x axis. ଏତିକି ଭିତରେ ମତେ ଏରିଆ ଟା ବାହାର କରିବାର ଅଛି ଏରିଆ ଟା କେମିତି ବାହାର କରିବି ମୁଁ କଣ କରିବି ନା ଏରିଆ ଟାକୁ ସବୁ କାଟିକି ଛୋଟ ଛୋଟ ଖଣ୍ଡ କରି ପକେଇବି ଷ୍ଟ୍ରିପ୍ସ କରି ପକେଇବି କେତେଟା ଷ୍ଟ୍ରିପ୍ କରିବି n ଟା ଷ୍ଟ୍ରିପ୍ କରିବି width କେତେ h width ତା ମାନେ b minus a this is b x equal to b this is x equal to a right x equal to a and x equal to b now what is the value of h then b minus a by n ତାହେଲେ এই পয়েন্টস গুড়া কিଏ କିଏ ହବ এই ଯୋଉ ପଏଣ୍ଟସ୍ ଗୁଡା ଆସିଲା so my first point x1 will be equal to a x2 would be equal to a plus h x3 will be equal to a plus 2h x4 will be equal to a plus 3h up to what xn plus 1 right will be equal to a plus nh ନା ନାଇଁ ଆଚ୍ଛା ଏଇ ଯୋଉ each strip ଟା କୋଉ ଭଳିଆ ଦେଖାଯିବ each strip will look somewhat like a sorry what does each strip will look somewhat like a trapezium somewhat like a trapezium okay trapezium trapezium ରେ ଯଦି ଏଟା trapezium ନ ହେଲା suppose ଏଠି ଗୋଲ ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି ତାହେଲେ ଆହୁରି ତାକୁ ଦି ଖଣ୍ଡ କରିବେ ତିନି ଖଣ୍ଡ କରିବେ ଚାରି ଖଣ୍ଡ କରିବେ ଯେତେ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଏଇ ଲାଇନ ଟା ଆମର ଷ୍ଟ୍ରେଟ ନ ହେଇଛି ଠିକ ଅଛି ତାମାନେ ମୁଁ କଣ କରୁଛି ଏଇଭଳିଆ ଗୋଟେ କର୍ଭ ଅଛି ତ ସେ କର୍ଭ ଟାକୁ ମୁଁ ବେସିକାଲି ଡିସ୍କ୍ରିଟାଇଜ କରୁଛି ଏଇଟା ଏମିତି କରିକି ବାହାର କରୁଛି ତାହେଲେ ଇଫେକ୍ଟିଭଲି କଣ ହବ ସେଟା ଗୋଟେ ଟ୍ରାପିଜିୟମ ଟା ହବ ଟ୍ରାପିଜିୟମ ର ଏରିଆ ଫର୍ମୁଲା କଣ ଏରିଆ ଅଫ ଏ ଟ୍ରାପିଜିୟମ କେତେ ଟ୍ରାପିଜିୟମ ର ଏରିଆ କେତେ କିଏ କହିବ
half into a plus b plus h
half into a plus b
plus h
plus or into
And F plus B
whole
H sir.
into plus h
A plus B into H by 2.
huh so h by 2 into a plus b where This A and B are basically parallel sides, right? Parallel sides. And H is the height. So in this case, if this is my A, this is my B, and this is my H, isn't it? A, B, and H, right? But if I take this to be my x1, this to be my x2, so A value would be what? F of x1. This will be f of x2, right? So f of x1 plus f of x2. So if I try to find out, the area will be equal to f of x1 plus f of x2 divided by 2 whole into what? x2 minus x1, which is h, which is h. So this is equal to h by 2 f of x1 plus f of x2, isn't it? এই গোটাই গেল নেক্সট যেটা আসিব so this is x a1 a2 would be equal to what h by 2 f of x2 plus f of x3 না নাই is this
Yes,
part clear to all of you?
yes, sir. Clear.
Similarly a3 would be h by 2 f of x3 plus f of x4. If I keep on doing this and I write an equal to h by 2 f of xn
Xn plus
plus f of xn plus 1 final point or f of b. Xn plus 1 means f of b. ମୁଁ ଏଟା କହିଛି x1 is equal to a, xn plus 1 is equal to b. The total area, let's say a is equal to a1 plus a2 plus a3 up to an, isn't it? So this will be equal to what? Half or h by 2 into f of a plus f of x1 plus h by 2 f of x1 plus f of x2. This will go on until h by 2 f of xn plus f of b, isn't it? You can see here x1, here x1, h by 2 x1, h by 2 x1. So half x1, half x1. That will be full x1, isn't it? Or if I write the formula, it will be what? H by 2 fa plus fb plus 2 times f of x1, f of x2, f of x3 up to f of xn. Now, ବୁଝିହେଲା ନା ନାହିଁ? Is this part clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So at this point, I'll take maybe 15 minutes break, and then I'll start with something called Simpson's one-third rule. Trapezoidal rule, we can find out the area under the curve or with basically the integration, but it is not the fastest way of finding out the integration. There is another called Simpson's rule that we will discuss after this break. Okay. Okay, we'll start. So next is we'll be talking about Simpson's one-third rule. Simpson's one-third rule. Okay, and what is that? Let me write down the rule, which is, let's say, integration of y dx from, let's say, a to b. This will be equal to h by 3, sorry, h by 3, then y0. Let me write down first, then I'll explain. Plus 4 times y1 plus y3 plus y5 odd terms, yn minus 1 plus 2 times even terms y2, y4, y6 up to yn minus 2 plus yn. So y0 is basically equal to f of a, or is equal to f of x0, and yn is equal to f of b, or is equal to f of xn. Y1 is equal to f of x1, y2 is equal to f of x2, or yn minus 2 is f of xn minus 2, yn minus 1 f of xn minus 1, and x1 minus x0 is equal to h, or x2 minus x1 is equal to h, and so on and so on. ये फॉर्मूला टा बुझी हला ना बुझी हलानी ମୋ କଥା ଶୁଭୁଛି ତ? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Are you able
Buddhi
to follow
Elani.
the formula?
Yes, sir. But not understand.
So let me repeat. ସେଠି ଆମେ କଣ କରୁଥିଲେ? h by 2 ନଉଥିଲୁ. h by 2 ଆଉ କଣ ଥିଲା? trapezoidal. h by 2 ନଉଥିଲୁ, ଆଉ ଏଇଟା ଥିଲା ଆଉ ଥିଲା 2 times all middle terms, right? But here h by 3 first term and last term plus 4 times odd terms, 4 times sum of odd terms, 2 times sum of even terms. Okay. अब जरा सर ସେଥିରେ ତ ବାହାରୁଥିଲା, ଏଇଟା ପୁଣି ଏତେ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିକେଟେଡ ଆଉ ଥରେ କରିବା କଣ ଦରକାର? ନା ଏଥିରେ କଣ ହେଲା ନା, ଟ୍ରାପିଜଏଡାଲ ରୁଲ ରେ ଆମେ ସବୁବେଳେ ଏଜ୍ୟୁମ କରିନେଲୁ ଯେ ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ଟ୍ରାପିଜିୟମ ହିଁ ହେଇଥିବ, whereas ଏଇଟା ଟ୍ରାପିଜଏଡାଲ ରୁଲ। whereas ସିମ୍ପସନ ରେ କଣ, basically we are talking about 3 points, we are talking about 3 points, ଆଉ ସେମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ଜରୁରୀ ନୁହେଁ ଯେ ଟ୍ରାପିଜିୟମ ହେଇଥିବ, ଏଇଭଳିଆ ହେଇଥିଲେ ବି ଚଳିବ। So we are basically taking 3 points. ପୁଣି ନେକ୍ସଟ ଯେତେବେଳେ କାଲକୁଲେଟ କରିବି, ଏଇଠୁ ପାଖରୁ ଧରିବି, କୋଉଠୁ କଲର ଚେଞ୍ଜ କଲେ, ଏଇଠୁ ପାଖରୁ ଧରିବି। ଏମିତି। ତ ବେସିକାଲି ଏଇଟା କରିବାର ମାନେ ହଉଛି କଣ, ଗୋଟେ ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଇଣ୍ଟିଗ୍ରେସନ ବାହାର କରୁଛେ ଗୋଟେ କର୍ଭ ଏଇଭଳିଆ ଅଛି, এই କର୍ଭ ଟାକୁ କେତେ ସ୍ମୁଥଲି ଆମେ ଡିସ୍କ୍ରିଟାଇଜ କରିପାରୁଛେ। ତମେମାନେ ସମସ୍ତେ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟ କରିଥିବ, ଯଦି ଲେଟ୍ସ ସେ ମୋବାଇଲରେ ଗୋଟେ ଫଟୋ ଉଠେଇଲ, ତାକୁ ଯଦି ଉଠେଇ ସାରିବା ପରେ ଫଟୋଟାକୁ ଜୁମ କରିକି ଦେଖିବ, ଗୋଟେ ପର୍ଟିକୁଲାର ଲିମିଟ ଯାଏ ଫଟୋଟା କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁଅସ ଜଣା ପଡେ। ତାଠୁ ଯଦି ଅଧିକ ଜୁମ କରିବ ତାହେଲେ ସେ ଡିସ୍କ୍ରିଟାଇଜ ହେଇଯିବ, ଫଟୋଟା ଫାଟିଗଲା ଭଳିଆ ଦେଖାଯିବ। ଠିକ ତ? So here also, what exactly we are doing? We are discretizing the curve. We are discretizing the curve. ତେଣୁ କେତେ ସ୍ମୁଥ ହେଇପାରିବ ସେ ଅନୁସାରେ ଆମେ ଦିଟା ପଏଣ୍ଟ ନ ନେଇକି କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁଅସଲି ତିନିଟା ପଏଣ୍ଟ ନଉଛୁ। So that is why it is called Simpson's one-third rule. ଆଉ ଆମକୁ ଏଇ ଫର୍ମୁଲାଟା ମନେ ରଖିବା ପାଇଁ ପଡିବ ଇଣ୍ଟିଗ୍ରେସନ ପାଇଁ। Simpson's one-third rule ରେ ଇଣ୍ଟିଗ୍ରେସନ ପାଇଁ କଣ, h/3 into first term plus last term plus 4 times sum of all odd terms, 4 times sum of all odd terms and 2 times sum of all even terms. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so this formula will be quite useful when you go for any practical programming, computer programming, to evaluate the integration. Okay, let me write down, there is another one, which is called Simpson 3/8 rule. Simpson's 3/8 rule. Simpson's 3/8 rule. So what is this 3/8 rule? Similar. So integration y dx from a to b will be equal to 3/8 into h. 3/8 into h. So first term y0 plus last term yn. First term last term है. Okay. Then what we will do? 3 times y1 plus y2, but 2 times y3. Let me write down. Plus 3 times y1 plus 3 times y2 plus 2 times y3. And we'll repeat that. We'll repeat that. So then what will happen? Plus 3 times y4, 3 times y5 plus 2 times y6. So it will go on until what? 2 times yn minus 3 plus 3 times yn minus 2 plus 3 times yn minus 1. So we have to use this kind of formula where f of x0 is equal to y0. That you understand. F of x0 is basically equal to y0. F of x1 is equal to y1. So similarly, f of xn is equal to yn. So instead of ପ୍ରଥମେ ଟ୍ରାପିଜଏଡାଲ ରେ କଣ ହଉଥିଲା, ଦିଟା ପାର୍ଟ ନଉଥିଲେ, ମାନେ ଦିଟା ପାରାଲାଲ ଲାଇନ, ତାକୁ ଟ୍ରାପିଜଏଡାଲ ଭଳିଆ କରିକି ଆମେ ବାହାର କରୁଥିଲେ। ସିମ୍ପସନ୍ସ ୱାନ୍ ଥାର୍ଡ ନେଲା ବେଳକୁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ମଝିରେ ଇଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଡ୍ୟୁସ ହେଇଗଲା। 3/4 ହେଲା ବେଳକୁ କଣ ହବ? What will happen? We are basically taking 2 points in between. So out is a smooth curve टाको आहुरी smoothly हमें reproduce कर पाए. Okay. So the advantage of Simpson's 3/8 rule is it is much more accurate as compared to Simpson's 1/3 or trapezoidal rule. But the convergence takes time. So the calculation or the time taken to get the answer will be longer. मंडल को तो ये तीनटा फॉर्मूला.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So next, I'll be talking something called interpolation. Interpolation. Interpolation माने कौन बुझुଛ? सुनिଛ ये word टा? Interpolation.
No, sir.
Anyone?
No, sir.
No. Okay. So let me give an example. Suppose it is given x and y values. 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9, 4, 16, 6, 36. What will be the value for 5?
23.
How do you know that? Yes, it is 25. But how do you know that? That it is 25.
Square on
So
in
what you
between
did,
2
yes.
times.
So what you did, you took this point, you took this point, this point, this point, this point, and this point, and try to see what is the value for y is equal to f of x. You try to express y as a function of x, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And you found, okay, it is possibly y is equal to x square. So if I have got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So when I take a middle point, a 5, which comes in between 4 and 6, then obviously I assume that it will follow the same rule. Y is equal to x square, isn't it? So this kind of calculation is basically called interpolation. ମାନେ ତମେ
Yes,
ଜାଣିଛ
sir.
value 5ଟା ପଏଣ୍ଟର value ଜାଣିଛ ତମକୁ in between ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ value ବାହାର କରିବା ପାଇଁ କୁହାଗଲା. ଓକେ
Yes.
ତାହେଲେ ସେ value ବାହାର କରିବା ପାଇଁ ତମେ ଯୋଉ ଫର୍ମୁଲା ତାକୁ ସବୁବେଳେ you will try to express it in terms of what? A formula y is equal to f of x. ତ ସେ ଫର୍ମୁଲା ଆକାରରେ ତାକୁ ଲେଖିବାଟା ହିଁ ହଉଛି interpolation. This interpolation is very much useful actually. Interpolation is very much useful in case of physics. କାହିଁକି ନା ତମେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ଜାଣିଛ ସଡନଲି ତମକୁ କୁହାଗଲା ଯେ ମଝି ପଏଣ୍ଟଟା କେତେ କହିଲ ଦେଖି. So you have to kind of express the observed values in terms of a formula. And then you try to find out the middle answer. Okay.
Sir, if we take any numbers, then we will calculate y is equal to x square. And square of
Yeah,
the
this is
square
an
of the
example.
number.
This is just an example. Suppose ମୁଁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ example ନଉଛି. Let's say ମୁଁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ example ନେବି. Okay. X, Y. Huh? X equal to 0, Y is equal to 2. Okay. x equal to 1, y is equal to 4. X
That is circular only.
yes, audible?
Yes, sir. Ready.
Yeah. So can you tell me what will be the value of for 4? I'm asking about this part.
16.
16? No. 1 to
No,
1
no,
ଅଛି.
no. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. No, no, do this one.
କେତେ ହବ ଜଣା ପଡୁଛି?
The
It will be
screen is
10.
not visible. The screen is not visible.
It will be now it is visible?
Yes, sir. Visible now.
Yeah. So this will be 10, right? This will be 10. Y is equal to 2x plus 2. If you substitute that, x equal to 0, it will be 2. X equal to 1, it will be 4. X equal to 2, it will be 6. X equal to 3, it will be 8. X equal to 4, it will be 10. X equal to 5, it will be 12. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So basically what I am doing, I am trying to find out the polynomial formula. I'm trying to find out the polynomial formula. So this kind of finding out polynomial formula is basically called interpolation. Okay?
We took f of 4 is equal to 10.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I suggest all of you to, if I go back to the material, uh, which is suggested by, yeah, groups of polynomial, numerical interpolation, extrapolation. Outside the interval, it will be extrapolation. Okay. So I suggest all of you to go to this link, and you can actually get all the uh, formula and derivations in this book actually. All of you have this material with you, study material with you?
Yes, sir. E-book is
Yeah. So then I suggest these are more like once you know what exactly is interpolation, then there is just a formula you have to follow while calculating the interpolated value. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. I'll possibly stop it here. If you have any questions, whatever I have discussed, you can ask. If you have any questions regarding error analysis, roots of polynomials, numerical interpolation, or numerical integration, you can ask.
Yeah, in that calculation formula, Newton-Raphson formula, when we put
Yes.
decimal, no, when we put
Yeah.
decimal number, at that time we will take help of calculator. Yes? So in
Yeah. See,
exam, we can,
this is
in
to
exam
this
we
is
can
to
check on
explain. This is to explain. Okay. This is to explain. So when you will be asked in the exam, you will be asked such kind of problems which you can solve it just by calculating yourself. You may not need calculator. Okay.
we
But
can ask
this,
to, we, we can ask to that invigilator that time.
yeah, you can ask whether I can take calculator or not. That
They
is
will
fine.
provide us. They will provide us.
No, calculator they will not provide. I mean, if calculator is required, you have to get your own calculator. Okay. Exam they will not provide you calculator.
Okay, we will take. It is allowed.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you for this nice session. Good night, sir.